Imagine this. Deep within the earth, far from the sunlit world we know, a single flame flickers. It casts long dancing shadows on ancient stone walls. In the heart of this darkness, a hand moves with purpose. This is the hand of an artist, one of the first our world has ever known. They are alone, surrounded by silence, broken only by the crackle of their torch and the gentle scrape of pigment on rock. What drives a person to venture into the cold, dangerous depths of a cave? Not for shelter, not for safety, but to create. This isn't just about survival. This is the dawn of human expression. The very moment our ancestors decided that life was not just for living, but for capturing, for remembering, for sharing, they were painting their world into existence. These weren't just random scribbles. Look closely at the art from caves like Lascaux in France or Altamira in Spain. You see herds of bison, their muscles powerfully rendered. You see graceful deer, seemingly leaping across the stone. You see the outlines of hands reaching out from the past, saying, I was here, I saw this, I felt this. These artists were masters of their craft. They ground minerals like ochre and manganese into powders, mixing them with charcoal, animal fat, or spit to create a palette of reds, yellows, blacks, and browns. They used their fingers, primitive brushes made of twigs or animal hair, and even hollow reeds to spray paint onto the walls, creating stunning three-dimensional effects by using the natural bulges and curves of the cave. It was a sophisticated operation, a true artistic endeavor. Think about the journey. To reach these canvases, our ancestors had to crawl through impossibly tight passages, navigate treacherous drops, and carry everything they needed with them: their tools, their pigments, and most importantly, their light. They used stone lamps filled with animal fat and a wick, or simple torches. In that flickering, unstable light, the animals they painted would have seemed to move, to breathe, to come alive on the cave walls. It must have been a magical, almost mystical experience. Were these paintings part of a ritual to ensure a successful hunt? Were they stories passed down through generations? Or were they simply art for art? Second, individual's profound need to capture the beauty and power of the world around them. We may never know for sure, and that's part of the enduring mystery. These weren't just pictures of animals. They were a window into the minds of our distant relatives. The world they lived in was raw and unforgiving. They were surrounded by immense, powerful beasts, mammoths, cave lions, woolly rhinos. Yet, in their art, there is not just fear, but a deep sense of reverence and connection. They understood the rhythms of nature, the spirit of the herds they depended on. By painting these animals, they were perhaps trying to understand them, to connect with their spirit, to honor their place in the world. It's a profound display of empathy and awareness, showing that even tens of thousands of years ago, humans were grappling with the same big questions we are today. What is our place in the universe? What does it mean to be alive? One of the most haunting images found in these caves is the hand stencil. The artists would place their hand against the wall and blow pigment around it, leaving a negative impression. It's an incredibly personal signature. It feels like a direct message sent across time. It's not a depiction of something else. It is the artists themselves, present and accounted for. Each handprint is a unique individual, a person with hopes, fears, and a creative spark. When you see those hands today, you can't help but feel a powerful connection. You can almost feel the cold stone and the warmth of the human hand that rested there 40,000 years ago. It collapses time, reminding us that these weren't primitive brutes, but people just like us. Why go so deep? Why paint in the most inaccessible, hidden parts of the cave? Some scholars believe these deep caves were seen as sacred spaces, a womb of the earth, a gateway to the spirit world. The journey into the darkness was a pilgrimage. The act of painting was a ritual, a ceremony. The images weren't meant for a public gallery. They were for the spirits, for the gods, or for a select few initiates. The darkness, the silence, the flickering light, it all would have enhanced the spiritual power of the experience. It was a cathedral built by nature, decorated by human hands, a place where the physical and spiritual worlds could meet. The art wasn't just on the wall. It was part of a living, breathing, sacred performance. Let's also appreciate the sheer dedication. This wasn't a casual hobby. It required planning, resourcefulness, and immense courage. They had to gather the materials, prepare the pigments, and then embark on a dangerous journey into the unknown. And for what? For a legacy they could never have imagined. They had no idea that their work would survive for tens of thousands of years, to be discovered by a future civilization they couldn't even conceive of. They were driven by an internal fire, a creative impulse so strong that it pushed them into the literal and metaphorical darkness. They were creating for their present, but they gifted us the greatest inheritance imaginable, the first chapter of our own human story. The discovery of these caves in modern times was like finding a time capsule. When 4 teenagers stumbled upon the Lascaux Cave in 1940, they opened a door to a lost world. The art was so vibrant, so sophisticated. It challenged everything people thought they knew about prehistoric humans. Pablo Picasso himself, after visiting Lascaux, famously said, "We have invented nothing." He recognized the pure, uninhibited genius of these first artists. Their ability to convey movement, form, and spirit with such simple tools and under such difficult conditions is a testament to the timeless nature of human creativity. It proves that the desire to make our mark, to tell our story through art, is one of the most fundamental things about being human. Today, these caves are fragile treasures. The breath of too many visitors, the change in humidity, even the light we use to see them can cause damage to the ancient pigments. Many, like Lascaux, are now closed to the public to preserve them, but their legacy is more accessible than ever through incredible replicas and digital documentation. We can still witness their power, and their message is more relevant than ever in our loud, fuss-based, digital world. The story of the solitary painter in the cave reminds us of the power of quiet contemplation, of focused creation, and of our deep instinctual connection to the natural world. So, the next time you see a painting, or a sculpture, or any piece of art, take a moment to think of that distant ancestor. Think of them in the deep, silent dark, with a flickering torch, carefully, lovingly, bringing a vision to life on a cold stone wall. They left us more than just beautiful pictures. They left us proof that the creative spirit is one of the most ancient and enduring forces in the universe. It's a light that even the deepest darkness cannot extinguish. They were the first to answer the call to create, and we've been following in their footsteps ever since.